told me that we're going to be doing stand-up comedy for charity, for kids, I just looked at him and I said, how would you want to do a thing like that? And like me, I think he's going through a bit of a midlife crisis. He said, it's either this, OnlyFans, or jumping out of a plane. Now my question to you is it too late to jump out of a plane? No, in all seriousness, being up here, it's not so bad. The hardest part for me was finding the time to write and say my jokes out loud. And a friend said to me, why don't you go for a walk and practice your jokes out loud while you're walking? Well, the problem is, I live in Prescott Town Centre, which is full of people. So as you can imagine, I'm walking around the town centre saying all this racist, misogynist, sexist jokes out loud, and everyone's just looking at me like I'm some kind of paranoid schizophrenic. Which, if you're from Prescott, isn't so bad actually, because everyone from Prescott looks like a paranoid schizophrenic, to be honest. But out of fear of being arrested again, I thought, this isn't going to do. I'm going to have to find somewhere new to write and practice my jokes. And that's when the idea came to me. The Prescott Cemetery, the graveyard, the Prescott graveyard. Because although it's full of people, they're all dead. Bit like this room tonight. No offense. No, so I get to the graveyard, and a perfect place for comedy. Because if you're in the graveyard and you're stood in front of a grave telling a joke, to anybody else, you just look like a healthy member of society visiting a deceased loved one. Little did I know that I'm practicing racist, misogynist, sexist jokes out loud. So we get to the graveyard and I see this gravestone there, and it read George Sampson, married to Penny Sampson. Sorry if you know him. But his grave is barren, he had no flowers on whatsoever, and I thought this is perfect because no family members are going to come over and check on me or see me doing this, so this is good. I can rehearse my bit here. And over a few days, weeks, that's where I went to practice my bit. I started feeling sorry for Georgie. Not because he has to put up with my shit jokes like you lot, but because he's got no flowers on his grave. So the next time I went, I took some flowers from somebody else's grave, and I put them on George's grave. And it wasn't before long that the grave started looking nice. You know, I was really proud of myself. I thought, it's the least I can do. It's the least I can do, you know. And then the worst thing that could happen happened. As I'm standing there and practicing my bit, a man walking his dog approaches me. He says, "You alright, mate?" I said, "Yeah, sounds, yeah, you." He said, "Did you know Georgie, did you?" I said, "You could say that, could say that." And he said, "What was your relation?" So I said, "It's my granddad, isn't he? My granddad and that." So he said, is that you been putting all the flowers on his grave? Is that you been putting all the flowers on his grave?" And I said, yeah, it's just sort of bullshit. And so I just said, like, yeah, he's a really big inspiration to me, a true hero, I could really look up to him, you know. I thought, fucking hell. And then he just went, "Oh, alright, yeah." I thought, thank God, I've passed the test. Jesus. Then right before he left, he turned around and he said, "Terrible what happened though, isn't it?" I said, "What? Come again?" He said, terrible what happened, isn't it?" So I thought, fucking hell, I don't know what happened. So I said, "Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it? It's terrible." And he just looked me dead in the eye. And he said, "What he did to all those kids." I just thought, fucking hell, no wonder there's no flowers on his grave. Shout out to my missus, my wife Romy, here tonight. Come on, make some noise for Romy! I first met Romy in Utah. Utah, of all places. Now, if you don't know Utah, Utah is full of Mormons, mix it a Mormon. The Mormon religion, for those who don't know, it's really similar to the Christian religion. There's a few small differences that are worth pointing out. Like for example, Mormons can't drink coffee or drink alcohol. Strictly forbidden. Wouldn't do well here, would it? Strictly forbidden. Can't do coffee. Can't do alcohol. However, sex or marriage with members of your own family, totally okay. That's fine. Some of you from Bootle, I know you can relate. But actually, if you sign up to the church, they'll give you a car and a house as well. So it didn't take long before I signed up to the Mormon church. Became a Mormon myself. 3 years. 3 years I was Mormon. And ended up getting kicked out of the church. Kicked out of the church. Can you believe that? Kicked me out of the church. Now it wasn't for having a bevy, like some of you would imagine. Sober 3 years, no problem. I got caught drinking a cup of cappuccino. Got caught drinking a cup of cappuccino. Which in Utah is posh for having a wank. In public. Now, thank you. Thank you. Now the $1 million question is, what was I doing in Utah in the first place? Why was I in Utah? Well, the short answer is, I've got family over there. Well, when I say family, my sister lives over there. When I say sister, she's now my wife. Shout out to Romy, everybody! Yeah. Shit. Religions and cults, it's weird, aren't they? I mean, like, some religions you can marry your sister, which is great. Other religions you get stoned to death for that kind of thing, you know. Gets me thinking about, like, when I was younger and things I had to do for religion. I had to do confessions. Anyone else do confessions here? Anyone else confessions? Sitting there with booth, in a booth with some man that you don't know. Tell him all your deepest and darkest secrets, you know, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. And he'd say to me, my child, do you have anything to confess? I say, not really, no. Sound, you know. He'd say, my child, do you rob? Do you steal? I say, yeah, I'm Scouse, doesn't everybody? That's just normal, isn't it? And he'd say, my child, do you ever have sexual thoughts about people from your school? I said, well, shit. We teach him Miss Derbyshire. She's very fit, to be honest, yeah, she's very fit. He says, my child, go on, tell me more. And I'd say, well, she's really nice, she's got a beautiful smile, she always gives me compliments, gives me high grades. He says, my child, in your thoughts, what was she wearing? Yeah, so I said, well, she wears what she usually wears in school, which is just like a tight blouse, you know, like a skirt, and like, you know. And he's like, my child, please, more, tell me more, go on. In your thoughts, what happens? What happens? And I thought, well, she starts making out with me passionately, and then, yeah, she's making out with me all passionately. She reaches for my, and I just thought, hang on, why am I telling you all this? And he says, my child, don't stop now, I'm almost there. George Sampson. So, with that, I'm going to end my night. Thank you very much. I had a wonderful time, and I hope you did too. Good night.
Go on, everyone, Jack Price! Well done, Jack. Right, keep the round of applause going. Come on, let's get it going. Welcome on stage, our next act. Okay. Our next act, originally from Formby. Lives in Warrington. Doesn't normally get a cheer. Okay. Works in recruitment. Please welcome to the stage the wonderful Mr. Tony Monk.
Well, hello. How are you doing, everyone? I tell you what, it's great to see you all coming out tonight on a pretty cold night. The British summer's done it again, hasn't it? Absolutely rained on the parade, but this is brilliant. Nice warm room, nice warm reception. Comedy, yeah. Well, Bren talked me into this a few months ago, and it had always been a bit of a bucket list thing doing stand-up for me. You know, I love watching shows and live comedy and support it all, and I thought, I reckon I've got a good 10 minutes in me. But then if you ask my wife, she'd probably say 2 on a good day. And in fact, when I told my family I was going to do stand-up, they laughed, and I thought, I'm off to a cracking start already there. Now, Bren obviously said my name's Tony Monk, and having a surname like Monk made me a bit of a target at school for nicknames. You know, it's obvious, isn't it? You know, they're going to be all kinds coming at you. You know, religious ones, monkey ones, the lot. And it happened in infant school. My mum sent me in with a packed lunch, and as I got to the, ate the butties, ate the crisps, chocky bar, some fruit left, started peeling a banana. And all the kids from the dinner hall were like, "Oh, look at that, monkey's eating a banana!" Brilliant. Ooh, ooh, ooh. They were in, weren't they? That was it for the rest of my school days. So I've got 2 daughters, and when it was their turn to, go to big school after nursery, I thought, well, I better pass on a bit of, fatherly knowledge about what might happen when they go to school. I said, look, you've got a name like Monk. You're gonna get picked on. You're gonna get nicknames. So you might get Monkey. You might get, oh, would you live in a monastery? Or get out that tree. All that lot. So when they went to school, it was fine. They never came back and complained. They were like, oh yeah, I heard them all before. My dad told me, whatever. But nothing could prepare us for my youngest daughter, Izzy Monk, as she's known. When she got to senior school, she was called Jizzy Spunk. But if you think that's bad, spare a thought for her mate in class, Mary Hinge. You absolutely didn't stare. Now, obviously, having two daughters, it takes a toll on the old hair, and I only realised I was starting to lose my hair when it took longer to wash my face. And I'd like to think I didn't ever lose any. I just grew too tall for my hair, and it basically slid off my head and it landed on my back and shoulders. So, not lost any. Maybe get it put back there one day. But there was this time when me and my eldest daughter Sam were in the Asda getting Izzy a birthday card, and we're looking through the cards and we're trying to pick a nice one. She's getting the sister one, I'm getting one from mum and dad. And Sam started howling, laughing. And I was, what are you laughing at? And she's like, oh my God, Dad, you won't believe this card. We've got to get this for her. It's about time she knew the truth. I went, what are you on about? Turned to look at her and she's got a happy birthday adopted sister card in her hand. I was like, Christ, there you go. And a few years later, as a family, we love going to Christmas markets. And we were on our way into Manchester Christmas markets for, pre-Christmas drinks and all that, and it just sets the spirit off, doesn't it? So we get in a taxi, and my wife's like having a little bit of a sniff around, going, stinks in here. And we're like, yeah, someone's probably walked in something or bombed in the back something. Don't worry about it. We'll be out this taxi in 5 minutes and on the train. And then we get on the train, and she's like, I can still smell something bad. Fucking hums on here. And we're like, Deb, you just don't like public transport. You're too used to getting driven about. Get a grip. Trains always smell of arse. It's fine. So anyway, we get through to the Christmas markets and we're there. And we meet a load of people I work with as well, and they were introduced to the kids, and the kids went, oh yeah, your dad's boss, yeah, brilliant. And then Izzy reaches round in a coat pocket and pulls out a full dog poo bag. And we haven't even got a dog. So I've been married 30 years now. I know. Applause. Thank you. And my wife's always said, despite the fact we've got 2 daughters, she's basically brought up 3 kids. I often get confused with being an adult due to my age. And these days I only open my mouth to change feet. So, but my problem is I think nothing bad is ever going to happen. That's probably why I'm stood here now on this stage shaking like a shitting dog. That's thrown me, that one. Hang on, I've got a text off Peter Kay here. He's saying, don't give up the day job. Yeah, But my wife, Debbie, you know, she does put up with a lot, bless her. And she's essentially the common sense side of our relationship. She effectively saves me from herself mostly. So we've got nicknames for each other, quite cute really. I call her the handbrake because she stops me from doing stuff I shouldn't do. And her pet name for me is really lovely. You know, if you've been married, you'll appreciate this. Her nickname for me is Knobhead. And it's fine, I can deal with that because I am a bit of a knobhead, so, you know, I don't worry about it. But in our house, we've got a bit of an Amazon addiction. Has anyone else got a delivery every day? It's nuts, isn't it? You know, since COVID, we just got it's too easy, isn't it? Too easy. So, and the packaging it comes in as well, it's absolutely outrageous. You know, you get the smallest thing with the biggest box. So, it's a credit crunch time at the moment, isn't it? Everyone's struggling, so these funeral plans, don't bother. Just order a new teaspoon from Amazon. And the box it comes in will be big enough for Grandma and Grandad. Thanks very much. It's lovely. I get a round of applause for that. And do you know what? I reckon Jeff Bezos has named one of his SpaceX rockets Debbie. Because over the last few years, she's pretty much 100% financed this space program. But unusually, we didn't get a delivery yesterday. It was a bit weird, really. I was looking outside thinking, when's it coming? But this morning, the Amazon delivery driver knocked on just to check we were okay. So that was good. That was nice. Now then, back to the list. Sorry about this, guys. Yeah. As a result of all this Amazon shopping, we've got a cupboard in our house we call the bunker. And it's called the bunker because Debbie loves to buy 6 of everything. It's got 6 toothpastes, 6 deodorants. She's a bit OCD, she likes even numbers. 6 shampoos, whatever they are. So in the event of World War III, we're going to look and smell great and probably make a few quid on the black market as well. And today I get home from work and Debbie's cleaning the freezer out in the kitchen. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she said, have you not heard on the news? They reckon it's all kicking off with Russia and NATO. And they've advised us to get 3 days worth of food in. She's an absolute prepper, I tell you. It's hats off to you, love, you know, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine, don't you worry. Now, don't old people say the strangest things? My nana, God love her, and bless her soul, she's no longer with us, unfortunately, but one day we was round at my nan's house, after having a cup of tea and a slice of homemade cake, of course, and she said, did you know that Winnie Stead had died? This was the lady who lived 2 doors down. And we went, no, I didn't hit, you didn't tell us that before, that's bad news. What did she die of? Oh, nothing serious. And my wife's granddad, he had a right turn of phrase as well. We went round to his, not the same week like, but you know, we were regular visitors there, and he said, he was in the middle of decorating, and we went, oh, you're looking pleased with yourself, John, how are you doing? And he went, yeah, sound. He said, have you ever heard of this magical product called No More Nails? I went, to be honest, John, I have, yeah, it's good, isn't it? And he said, brilliant. He says, I've just been putting up a new dildo rail for your grandma. It took me no time at all.